Hey guys, Kamina the coach here. I'm gonna drink my coffee as I'm getting ready for work, mentally getting ready to go to work. Um, welcome, um, welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Kamina the coach. I've been working and living abroad for over a decade. I'm currently teaching in my ninth country. I am not an ESL teacher or a backpacker. I am a professional educator. In March of 2020, due to COVID, I was forced back to the United States where I really started aggressively addressing early childhood trauma, specifically related to adoption trauma. So videos that you find on this channel are a mixed bag. They are related to living a better life, working on and healing trauma, and working and living abroad. Currently, I am in Baghdad, Iraq. The air quality isn't great here, so I sound a little sick because it's destroying me. Um, so I do this video with a heavy heart. Um, it's not just in this region, but in the entire world. There is a great deal of chaos going on, and things are going to get worse before they get better. I have done videos on this channel imploring people who work and live abroad to at least peripherally pay attention to the news, because it often will directly affect you depending on where you are in the world. And I've definitely had that happen to me in the different places that I've been in my time abroad. Currently, um, I am in a country that is justifiably very, very angry at the United States for supporting, as far as I'm concerned, acts of terrorism. I don't usually I try to stay away from politics on this channel, but I am a human, and there is no way to ignore that the United States is supporting terrorism in this part of the world. And if you've not lived in this part of the world, you likely believe it to be the other way around. So I'm not here to argue that with you. Only here to express, I hate that color of light. That light was bothering me. Only here to express that you really need to be paying attention to what's going on around you in the world if you are working and living abroad. So how has it affected me in my time abroad? Several different times. During the Trump era and the Trump presidency, I had gotten a job in China, and I was going to, and my visa paperwork had been processed, which is a long, arduous, expensive process. And I was due to cross at the border at Hong Kong. And if you go back a couple of years and look at these videos, you'll see I'm doing videos in a hotel room in Hong Kong. I was stuck in Hong Kong for 3 weeks because Chinese government started really cracking down on Americans because of the aggressive way that President Trump was approaching the Chinese. So not only did I get forbidden from crossing over into China at the border, with all of my belongings, by the way, 2 massive bags and a rolling bag and a backpack. They told me at the border I couldn't enter. And Chinese don't speak English, even at immigration. And so told at the border I couldn't pass. And then was stuck in Hong Kong during their anti-China protests, and it being a very dangerous time for Americans there because China felt like it was the Americans and the British who were stoking the fire, fanning the flames of the young Hong Kongers demanding their freedom. So, really, a time when not paying attention to global news could be very disorienting and confusing and not understand what is going on around me. Luckily, I do not immerse myself in news, but I am aware enough to know what's going on around me and where I need to keep my antennae up. Um, Another time, I guess shortly after this, my next job after that, I was in Kurdish Iraq in Sulaymaniyah, and during a time when, yet again, President Trump withdrew American forces from Syria, and the Turks attacked immediately, and the Kurds immediately turned on the Americans. They were very, very upset with us from one moment, yay, Americans, to why are you here and what's wrong with your president? Justifiably so. I mean, I'm not my country, but I am the representation, I am the face of my country abroad. And these are the realities of it. Even when you're a Black or brown person, it's interesting that few people will address it until there's something negative going on, and so that you become the target of that. So, 2 times that it has affected me, and then currently affecting me now. So, where I'm at now, we're fairly restricted anyways, and I knew that coming into the situation. They want very much to keep us safe because the country wants peace. They want to develop their country. The United States has already done its damage here. The United States is still here, by the way, not just those of us working, but U.S. military is still here, even though we were supposed to withdraw ages ago. So I'm not here working military. I'm an educator here in a very confined situation, and usually we're able to go out once a week. That has stopped now. There are mass protests, and there is quite a bit of anti-American rhetoric, and they are calling for a withdrawal of American troops from their country, and I'm wondering how much longer it will be till they are calling for a withdrawal of Americans from their country. And so this is why I implore people that are working and living abroad or contemplating working and living abroad to be more aware. I received a message from a gentleman trying to help a woman who wants to work and live abroad, and a woman with a PhD who's not an educator. Having a PhD doesn't make you an educator, by the way, and I've done videos about that. You don't know anything about pedagogy, you're just an expert in your field, and that does not make you an educator. It just makes you an expert in your field. You know, when I started doing this in 2010, 2011, 2012, there just wasn't really much information out there. But there's so much information out there about what I do now. I'm certainly not the only one talking about what I do. There's so much information available. In fact, I did consulting work for some years because there was no information available in the beginning. And I worked with people to help themselves get brave enough and organized to come overseas to do this now. In the state of the world, the way that it is right now, if you are unable to gather the knowledge that you need from the research that, researching what's out there, I would maybe suggest that this might not be the life for you. The world is in a state of very serious flux. Things are very chaotic. right now. And like I said earlier, it's only going to get worse and probably not going to get better in our lifetime. So if you're not a critical thinker, if you are easily unnerved, if you're not paying attention to not just what's going on for you centrally, but what's going on globally, this may not be the life for you. And I would also suggest that if you don't think like this, you're probably not the person that young people and students need as an educator right now. Because these children and young people abroad that we are teaching need critical thinkers who can help lead them to asking the right questions. And if you can't research on your own, then how can you teach someone to research? If you can't stand on your own 2 feet, if you can't take a critical look around you and ask the right questions and know where to look on your own, how could you teach a young person to do that? And I think it's a very serious question to ask yourself if you are not working and living abroad. And that's really all I had in this video. You really need to be paying attention to what's going on globally. Putting your head in the sand like an ostrich is not going to serve you working and living abroad, and the U.S. Embassy is not going to come to rescue you. I promise that. And if they do fly you out, it's going to be at substantial cost, $5,000 on up. You are going to have to pay that back. So please pay attention to what's going on in the world if you are already working and living abroad. If you are considering working and living abroad, you really need to take a good look at yourself and ask yourself how much intestinal fortitude you have, and ask yourself realistically how deep of a critical thinker you are. What can you ask good questions? Can you get the information that you need without seeking out someone like me to ask me what I think? Because there are lots of me's on the internet now. Maybe not with 9 countries under their belt and as many years abroad as I have, but there's lots of information out there. Excuse me. So if you're not able to do those things, and ask yourself, and looking, kind of do some searches about what's going on in this region, and asking yourself, even someplace that you think is very relaxed, like Thailand, experiences bombings, explosions, terrorist attacks inside of Thailand as well. So the entire world is in flux right now. There's not really a place where you could go to escape the chaos of the world right now. And you really need to ask yourself how you would behave in a crisis outside of your country. And if you're not handling crisis in your own country very well, how are you going to behave in crisis outside of your country? And would that serve your students? Because at the end of the day, teachers are teachers not for ourselves, but for our population. Because it is the vocation, as the Mexicans call it, which literally translated is vocation, but really what it is a calling. I do this because I was meant to do this, because I was called to do it, not because, where I'm at right now is good money, but you have to look at what I'm giving up for this paycheck. So that's all I have to say today. My name is Kamina the Coach, and as always, even though I am very serious and somber today, I am always sending you love, light, peace, and joy. Please send all of your love and warm wishes to the people suffering in Gaza right now. It is definitely a humanitarian crisis. So until next time, Kamina the Coach, I'm out.